Hey guys, it's Miss Wiles in 5th grade, and I'm going to read to you a story that I've enjoyed reading to 2nd and 5th graders as I've taught both of them. And that is the true story of the three little pigs. And you can notice on the front, it is a newspaper article and it's told by a wolf. So let's see. We all know the story of the three little pigs. Let's see what happens. Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I will let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever asked me my side. So the wolf is saying nobody's ever asked him his side. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it is all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault. Wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies, sheep, and pigs. They just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. So there he is thinking about, hey, and there's our cheeseburgers, guys, that we all like to eat. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing, it's all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold, and I ran out of sugar. As you can see, he's trying to pour some sugar into that cup and measure his cup of sugar for his cake, and nothing's coming out for dear old Granny. You can see Granny's pictures up here in the corner. You can see her picture up there in the very corner. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. And he had built this whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house out of straw? There's the house of straw. So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without that cup of sugar for my dear old Granny's cake. That's when my nose started to itch and I felt the sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I sniffed. Let's see, that nose is starting to itch and all that stuff's going on right there in that picture. What do you think happened? Guys, he had a great old sneeze. Look at all that stuff happening in that picture with that sneeze. And you know what? That whole straw house fell down, and right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. Seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so I ate him up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. He's thinking hard. He's thinking about not eating him, but he eats him up. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar for my dear old Granny's cake, so I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, not much. He had built his house out of sticks. I rang the doorbell in the stick house. No answer. And I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, Go away, wolf, you can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin. I just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on, and I huffed and I sniffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now you know, food will spoil if you just leave it out there in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake, so I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family because he had built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. And I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me even one little cup for my dear old sweet granny's birthday cake? What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. Well, I huffed, and I sniffed, and I sneezed once again. Then the third little pig yelled, and your granny can sit on a pin. Ooh, we know what that's going to do to that mean old wolf. Now look, he does have that handkerchief right there for his nose. He's wiping off a handkerchief, guys. And a handkerchief's another name for like a tissue or something that people keep in their pockets to help them if they have a cold or something. And sometimes when men wear a suit, they'll keep a handkerchief with them. Look at that pig's mean old scowl. The scowl's a nasty little face. The rest, as they say, of this story is history. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs I had for dinner, and they figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all of that huff and puff and blow your house down, and they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. Now look at our news article right here, guys. We've got the big bad wolf, it says. The big bad wolf, he's bad. He'll huff and he'll puff. And then down here, guys, it says Red Riding Hood settles out of court. Now, Red Riding Hood, guys, remember she dealt with a wolf too because she was going to Granny's house. And Granny, when she got there, it wasn't Granny. It was the wolf in bed. If you don't know that story, you need to read that story. It was the wolf was in bed, not Granny, when she got there with her basket of food through the woods. So let's see what happened. It says that was a real story. He's claiming he was framed, so let's see. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar? Now look, who's looking at him in jail, and it says pig penny, his little jar. And look at his officer that's outside of his jail. It's a pig. He sure is eyeing him, isn't he? He doesn't look very happy. So, guys, this is the real story of the wolf. So what do you think about the wolf? Do you think the pigs were telling the truth or the wolf? Who knows?